This body of work was pretty much, that's how the title of the show came about. It's fearless, you know, and my work and my venture, it's all about trying to push and advance that part of myself further and you know, and explore things. They frighten me sometimes, but I have to. The name of this piece, it's solid, you know, and it's a very strong attraction I have towards solidity. Someone who's completely grounded, someone who's completely strong, and very quiet at the same time. For me, I'm very attracted to that because it's almost a magnet. And in this picture, you see a very strong ball color, but they're moving fast. But often in my work, you have tendency to see the eyes, they're usually very wide open. And this one, it's just open, but it's very, you don't need a lot of space to see. This is actually about the person who kind of inspired my creative world. He was a stage artist and in Africa way back, and this guy, his name was Lai, and Lai was an amazing man. We were not a friend. He just happened to like who I was growing up, and I was very attracted to the world he was engaged to. And somehow our connection was probably more about smoking dope than anything. And that's how we become connected. And then one time I had brought some work that I did, and I said, well, we were smoking, and I said, Lai, you have to see, man, I paint. He said, really? He said, yeah, you have to see it. He said, let me see. You know, as we were looking at these things, he opened the book. He said, oh, Michel, this is terrible. This is terrible. This guy has an amazing ability. What he's doing, he played in many films. He was very highly intellectual. I know this guy has something that I wanted. So time passed. About 8-9 months ago, almost a year, I went back. I bumped into him in the market. I said, Lai, I have this stuff you have to see. He said, really? I wanted to see, come by. So I went over there and I opened this little scratchbook I had. I didn't even open the whole thing. He said, Michel, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. If you continue to do this type of work, you'll always have something to talk about. I was now even more confused because this work came to me the more freely, the more easy, and it was nothing about an identity of a representation of a background of African descent, and all of that stuff was not in there. It was just about exploring the spirit. What am I here to do? What is this relationship that I have with the world who come and go inside of me, my emotion, my feelings? And that's what I went after. And it was an amazing block then he just threw in my head to, you know, grab that part of myself that I was trying not to be so interested about. For me, my work's been probably more about listening. You know, I listen to the next move into my work. Yeah, actually, this one, this piece.
Whose eyes are very wide.
Yeah, but the thing about his eyes too, they pink, and it's a compassionate approach too of awareness. I mean, I think the biggest God I always will have, it's my awareness. I don't have a lot of religion and all of this kind of stuff that I interact with. My awareness, it's the shit. And in this particular pieces, it's about that. Often I use a lot of horn. I believe it's an element of information who travel where we are as a people, and it hits you, it hits everybody. And it has to have an antenna, a way to receive that. So in a lot of my work, you will encounter a lot of horn. So how you paint that? So for me to be able to have that, to emphasize that in my work, that's the part I was talking about earlier, about the part of listening. This is actually the piece about fearless, And then a lot of this writing, they from the alphabet of Wolof, which I grew up in. Wolof, it's the language that we speak in Senegal, and it's a new language than they've been writing about. So I think so for me, just about the time I was leaving, it was getting much more clear. So I still have some abstract uh, study about it. So what I like about that, I take those alphabet, those words, and I flip them, and I mix them with number. So what I like about those number, they just not a random number who flew out. They flew out of me as a rhythm because in Africa growing up, uh, I was exposed to a lot of African drum. So I used to play, I still play, and all of our rhythm, they all on six. And how you break them to create those different beats, that's how those numbers came. So it's every three, you have a pause, you have a 3, 6, 6 and a pause. So my brain has a tendency to want to move things around, change them, and then see where they will fit in my life. And then when they all laid out in the surface of the canvas, he adds something very narrative and he's very intuitive. These are not a thing I'm thinking about. This is what I spend my world.